It's just a virus going around. I know, but it can be serious for some people. I tested myself yesterday. I just wanted to be sure before I came here that
Turn the mic on. Good morning, Unity of Sun Lakes. How's everybody doing today?
Right.
Good. Well, I want to welcome you to our lovely church. Thanks for coming. We're going to start off with some song with Diana, with a song with, I can say it.
Thank you.
A song by Diana Perez.
Thank
you,
you.
Diana.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. If you know this song, which we've done it before, sing along with me. Put your hand in the hand of the man that's still water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man who every time I look at the holy book, I walk to truth. When I read about the part where the carpenter cleared the temple, for the fires in the cellars were no different fellas than what I was best to read. And it caused me shame to know I'm not the gal I used to be. Everybody, put your hand in the hand of the man that's still waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calls the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 7. When I'm down on my knees, that's when I'm close to heaven. Daddy lived his life for the kids and wife. You do what you must do, but he showed me enough of what it takes to get you through. Everybody, put your hand in the hand of the man that's still water. Put your hand in the hand of the man that calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Let's do it one more time. Put your hand in the hand of the man that's still water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce Reverend Julian Norton, who's going to open us in prayer.
I'm back. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Close your eyes and go within to your heart space. Know you are surrounded by its beautiful gold and white light,
protecting you. We thank the universe for this beautiful rain as it nourishes the land and our souls. We are blessed to be here today with family and friends. We know we go into this beautiful Christmas season with our hearts open to love and light that shines all the time, not just during the Christmas season. So we listen to the words today and learn whatever it is that we are to learn. We enjoy the music and the words, and we go forth into this world a better person, sharing that love and the light and the warmth of this holiday season. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Julia. It is birthday Sunday. If you have a birthday this month, we invite you to stand up if you'd like. No December birthdays? Wow, okay.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Our son, Jesus, God's son. Okay, well let's stand and sing happy birthday to Jesus and Bart's son and anyone else we know. But my daughter, her birthday is today. This is her birthday.
My daughter.
Oh, okay. So here are the words.
Happy birthday to you. There's no one like you. You made me created. I love knowing you. I bless you with life and abundance of joy. God bless you, my loved ones, and have many more.
Thank you. I'm not sure what's next, so it's like, oh, we're going to welcome friends. Do we have any newcomers today? I think I know every face in the place today.
Wow.
This is my sister from Colorado.
All right, I don't. Tony was right. She's like, no, you don't. You've been here before. Okay. Well, we're going to welcome you anyway, and let's welcome everybody who is here, and let's bless the people who aren't here. Ready? Together. We love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. Amen. All right. We invite Maria Bland to come. I don't know if the word is grace. I didn't notice that till just now, so it's probably a different word. It's probably, I'm going to guess that it is peace. I knew that.
We like peace and grace.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This beautiful, beautiful day. We need this rain so badly. It is. Our daily word today is peace. Centered in God, I am a peaceful presence. Stepping away from the business of holiday preparations and the important work that must be completed by year's end, I continue my Advent journey by practicing peace in the present moment wherever I am. I am gracious with store clerks and servers in restaurants. I add positive, peaceful thoughts to conversations. When I am When I am traveling, I bless other drivers with whom I share the road, and my fellow passengers on public transportation. Peace flows from that place in consciousness where God's presence fills my awareness. I need not find a quiet corner. When I am willing, anywhere can be a peaceful sanctuary. The peace of God refreshes me and goes with me as I return to the activities of the day. Wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, I am a peaceful presence. And from Psalms 29:11, may the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace.
May the Lord bless these microphones. Amen. I think we're going to be getting new ones. But right now, let's prepare for meditation. Amy had something to say. Sure. But let's prepare for meditation. Diana's going to lead us there in song.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night a candle glows. And I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come and show the way. I believe above a storm, the smallest prayer can still be heard. And I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why. I believe, I believe, I believe. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why. I believe, I believe, I believe.
Thank you, Diana. All right. So as we go into meditation, I invite everyone to get comfortable in their chairs. If you have anything in your lap or in your hands, I invite you to put that down. And let's sit up straight, and then just kind of wiggle and get comfy in your seats. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. If not, you can just lower your gaze or soften your gaze. Let's just take a nice, deep, centering breath. And another nice, deep, centering breath. Hold it for a few seconds. And then slowly let it out. Focus on our heart spaces. And from this place of peace, we know that peace comes from a faith that we are one with all there is. And so we just breathe into that knowledge. Just breathe into knowing that the allness is us. Breathe into knowing that this life, this spirit, this power is us. And we just focus on this peace in our heart. We focus on the quiet. We focus on the love. And let's just spend a minute or two in the silence. gently bring our awareness back into the room. We wiggle our toes and wiggle our fingers. Get our bodies moving again. When we focus, we come back to the room. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I wanted to see. That little guy. So I haven't figured out quite yet how to change the pictures. But let's imagine that's like a Christmas scene. Stuff like that. So today I want to talk about a peace born of faith. Last week we talked about faith and how we have faith that God is in us, God is us, and so everything's going to work out okay. So the first three words to inner peace are not my problem. It's funny, but it's true. I mean, if we get involved in everyone else's problems, first of all, they're not going to learn the lessons they need to learn. And second of all, we're going to be really, really stressed. We're not going to have much inner peace ourselves, are we? So the revealing word, which is Charles Fillmore, he's co-founder of Unity. Charles Fillmore wrote the Daily Word. So he describes peace as harmony and tranquility derived from awareness of the Christ consciousness. Makes sense to me. That's kind of what the talk is about. So I had kind of written this talk in my head, and then I went to look up stuff, and I'm like, well, everything that I looked at followed my talk exactly. I was like, I love it when stuff like that happens. So H. Emily Cady, she's a prolific Unity writer, in How I Use Truth, says peace is an harmonious state of mind based on the divine idea of peace. Can you turn this down just a hair?
Yes.
The divine idea of peace. Peace is the condition of harmony and tranquility that comes as a result of knowing our true relation to God. Universal peace is the harmony that results in the world when a sufficient number of enlightened souls know God consciously and apply this inner knowing to all their human relationships. That's kind of basically what the talk is about. So we look at Romans 5:1. It says, therefore we are justified by faith. We have peace with God. So if we have faith that we are part of God, that everything's going to work out all right, that kind of brings us peace. It's pretty obvious. But then doesn't always work out so well in our lives. We don't always remember that we're part of God, that we're on God's side, or rather God is on our side, or rather we're all on the same side. There's only one side, right? God is everywhere. God is love. If God is everywhere, so I've explained this to people now. We're all Unity members, most of us, and so I'm not going to say everybody knows this, so I'll just kind of tell you how I kind of describe to people how I think about God. I kind of think if God is everywhere, there's nowhere God is not. So think of the place, like even the Bible says, if you descend into hell, God is there. That's good to know, when we're in the hell, we create for ourselves, and we do that. God is there. But why is God there? Because we're there. It's like our prayer of protection. Wherever God is, wherever we are, God is, right? We bring God with us. My mom used to say that. And she was kind of journeying out of fundamental traditional Christianity into a more enlightened state. She was like, we don't pray for God to come to church. We bring God to church. And I'm like, well, God's already there. God's already everywhere. So, yeah. But so if God is everywhere, and there's nowhere God is not, God's in me, but more importantly, I'm in God. Because God's everywhere. So all of this stuff we see is inside God. So if we're part of God, and I guess we're going to be on the same side as God. I'm just guessing. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Okay. So So when we pray, we're praying for something, we're not really praying to a God up there and saying, God up there, please give me this. Well, we're praying from a knowledge that we are one with God. Universe, I need this. That's kind of how I do it. I'm just like, I need a new car. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank the universe for it. And I've talked about that too, how I would like a Tesla. So we're just going to keep, we'll see how long. So you guys all agree with me for a new Tesla, okay? Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're all one.
We're one, yes. You can all drive my Tesla.
I know how.
Barb has a Tesla. She's teasing me with her Tesla. I had to touch her.
She'll
Touch
train you.
Get her Tesla vibes. So we have peace if we know who we are, what we are. So now that we have this peace, let's assume we all said, okay, yeah, I got that peace, guys. Now we're going to cultivate it. So how do we cultivate the peace in our hearts? What do you guys think? How do you guys cultivate peace? Anybody?
Be accepting.
Be accepting. That's one of the ones on my list. I saw, Laura, I saw your hand.
Gratitude, thanking
Gratitude.
every day for all we have, and also deep breathing.
Deep breathing. So that's kind of meditation a little bit, maybe? Is that what you were going to say, Kate? Okay. So, well, that's the first one I had on my list is meditation. So 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, for God is a God not of order, but of peace. So that's always really nice to know. If you don't have peace, you maybe aren't thinking about the right things, possibly. And then, again, from H. Emily Cavy's How I Use Truth, when we speak of attaining a consciousness of peace, we're not thinking of something outside of ourselves. We are, rather, considering the awakening of our mind, thinking and feeling, to the idea of peace, so that it may manifest in our outer life. So if we just focus on peace, let's take a few seconds, just everybody close your eyes if you're comfortable, if not, just soften your gaze, but everybody just think about peace. Think about something that makes you peaceful, or a place where you feel peaceful. Let's take a few seconds just to do that. Well, I feel way more peaceful already, just for like 10 seconds. Thinking about that, it's like, whew, not quite as nervous as I was when I came up here. So meditation, one of the easiest and probably the most common way to find inner peace. And I think it's funny. So whenever I talk to anybody outside of Unity, every single person says, I can't meditate. My mind just goes and goes and goes, and I can't get it to shut off, and I can't keep it quiet, I can't relax. No one ever said that your mind was going to shut off when you meditate. It might get quieter, but the trick is not to try to shut our minds off, but just to know that while we're meditating, we know my mind's going to wander. So I'm just going to gently bring it back to what I was focusing on. I did a silent retreat in April, just kind of as a thing I felt I needed to do. And the yogi who was giving us instruction just kind of, so he had a bunch of things, but one of the things that I remember was, when you notice what you're thinking about, just think, is that something I want to spend my time thinking about? And I noticed, when I realized, when I go, okay, why am I thinking about that? And I could just kind of stop and redirect my thoughts. And I talked about this last week, and that's the nice thing. We can instantly stop and redirect our thoughts anytime. I want to tell a funny story about that, because this was last year Christmas, so Dennis is still growing up a little bit. But so last Christmas I was with a caroling group, and there's a tenor who is kind of, I like him. I don't know that he likes me very much, but that's not the point. I'm okay with that. But he's a really good tenor, and so I really look up to him, and I like him, right? So he and a younger girl, they're both probably 20, 30 years younger than I am, but they're talking about how, when I get depressed, it's so hard to get out of that depression. And I, being a depressive, I kind of know that it was really hard, and then it took me years, but I figured out that I can change my thoughts in a second. So I'm like, yeah, you know, but you can change your thoughts in a second. And they kind of both looked at me like, there's Dennis negating everything we say again. And I'm like, yeah, I do that. And so I just kind of let it go. But then a minute or two later, we were singing, and it was going so slow. Hey guys, can you pick this? I love you, but this is going really slow. And the tenor looks at me and goes, I think it's going just fine. And so I took that personally and immediately shut down. And so you know when you shut down, you can't look anybody in the eye, and so they noticed immediately, because I'm pretty open and out there, and it takes a bit to shut me down. But they noticed I was shut down, and so they're like, oh. And so it took a few minutes, but then I was like, oh yeah, I remember. I can change my mind anytime. And so I let them know that I was mad for a few minutes, but then I said, it's okay. But what was really funny, first what was funny was that I shut down, and it's kind of the same thing they were talking about, how it's really, really hard to get out of that. And I was like, well, that's pretty interesting that was the exact thing we were talking about, that you can instantly change your thoughts, and it took me a minute to change my thoughts. But I did. I'm trying to think about the other thing I was going to say about that. God, it was good. It was good. It was good. Okay, if I remember it, I'll come back to it. Let me take a second. Oh yeah. So it was talking with my therapist about that and how we can change our thoughts instantly. I think I've said this story before, like last week, but that was the nice thing, was that I was able to change my thoughts instantly. All right. So another thing that helps us to have inner peace is affirmations. So I noticed that when I remember to say affirmations, and I'm getting better at this and better at this, just to remember. It's a little early, Amy. She heard the word affirmation. She's like, it's time for our affirmation. Yeah. That was a good one, though, wasn't it?
Go preview.
But so whenever I'm feeling down, I try to remember to, in Unity, we do denials and affirmations, and now they're changing it from denials, because that kind of means something else nowadays, to renunciation or release. So what that means is just to release the power that we gave to the negative thoughts, or the fear, or whatever it is, right? I release the power that I gave to the fear of this person not liking me. And I know that I am loved by God. I am God's love. So anytime we can just do that, but throughout the day, I find that if I do that throughout the day, it's a much better day. But that was something that I kind of had to learn too, that I can't just know all this good stuff in my head. I have to practice it. And it's kind of nice. So I told you guys a story about my car breaking down. So it was the day before my silent retreat, the last thing I needed for my licensed Unity teacher certification. I'm up in Prescott because my daughter's having her baby. They're going to induce her because she had gestational diabetes, and they're like, okay, we need to get this baby out of here. Thinking the baby was going to be huge. I mean, he was 8 pounds, 8 ounces. He was pretty normal size. But so on the way up there, the gas station accidentally put diesel in the gas. So imagine how that truck driver feels about getting a new job. But so I'm like, okay, my car is not working. I have to be there for my other granddaughter, who's the older child of the sibling of the one that's being born. And so I'm at the hospital, and then she ends up having an emergency C-section. So it's like, my car's not working, my daughter's having an emergency C-section, and then my other daughter, who I was like, well, she can give me a ride back to town. She's like, oh, no, I'm going now. I need some sleep. I stayed up all night, now I'm going home. I'm like, okay. So I just was like, this is a time when normally in the past I would have been really nervous, and I would have, what's going to happen? Is everything going to work out? And I just kind of told myself, remember your training, Dennis. Took a couple deep breaths, just know, all's in divine order. I'm part of God. It's all going to work out fine, even if it doesn't work out how I wanted. And it ended up working just fine. The car was fixed that afternoon, and I got home just fine. Pretty good silent retreat, huh, Julia?
Yes.
It was small but deadly. It was really, really a lovely silent retreat. Next year I'll invite all you guys too. Don't be afraid of meditating. or 8 hours of silence. It wasn't that hard. I did it for 7 days. And I don't know if you guys know me, but I like to talk. So 7 days of not talking. It was a challenge, but it really changed me, and it was amazing. So I would invite you guys to meditate, affirmations, and then practice. So that's basically what I was saying. Just remembering to do it during the day. Just remembering to keep our thoughts vigilant. That was something that I read in A Course in Miracles. Just that we have to be vigilant with our thoughts. We can't just let our thoughts wander. I mean, we can. You can just let your thoughts wander, but if you want to have inner peace, if you want to have, the consciousness of God with you all the time, then we want to be vigilant with our thoughts. And then, let's see, Galatians. Oh yes, Galatians. By the contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So that's Galatians 5:22 and 23. And then I think the last thing we want to do with our inner peace is spread it around. And I don't think we can avoid that, because if we have the peace, it's going to flow out into the world. So Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. So I like how Paul kind of gives us a little caveat there. He's like, as much as you can, live peaceably with all. Because, we're humans. And I was saying something about that last week, that we're all humans, but we're all God, right? We're all part of God. So there's like 6 to 8 billion little gods running around here, and we all sure act like it. Right? Right? Well, yeah, we think we are. And we always think we're right. And of course we do. I mean, that's just the way it is. We're always doing the best we can. We're always sure we're right. And then, we meet the other people. They don't necessarily agree. But I think we need that. We need the balance of the people who hate it and the people who love it. And the people who are like, in the middle, right? Maybe they can help the people who love and hate it kind of come together in the middle. But so, yeah, that's what peace is about. Peace begins at home. So once I have peace in my heart, then I can make choices based on that. Right? I can say, okay, so I had a little trouble with my sister. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, so I had 7 really intelligent people telling me everything I did was wrong. All the time. That's all it was. You did that wrong, that's stupid, why'd you do that? And so that's what I did to everybody else. Why'd you do it that way? Because my way is always the best way. I was taught that. So it's nice to be taught, to know that we're taught these things and we can unteach ourselves, we can learn new things. That was another thing that I've said before to my therapist. So therapy was one of the requirements for me. Well, there were some other ones, but I picked therapy. Probably because I knew that I needed that the most. But it's really helped me, I'm not kidding. So I started last November with this lady. Her name's Judy, and she just turned 80, so she's 20 years older than I am, and just an amazing, amazing soul. She would say she's a bit of an atheist, but I think that's okay, because most of the people who call themselves Christians don't always act like Christ. So that's our goal, kind of, is to act like Christ. But yeah, she really helped me just some of the things she said, that's a habit you have. You can just change that. Why can't you just change that habit? Just realize that you're reacting the way you react. So that was the story. The youngest of my 3 older sisters sings and writes music as well. So she and I were singing and writing music together. And she's really kind of bossy and kind of mean, and I have to do it the way she wants, or she's mad. And that's all stuff we learned. So I was like, I just don't want to deal with her anymore, and her bossy, and she doesn't respect me. And So I kind of was mad at her, but I realized that I'm mad at her because I'm mourning the sister that I don't have, the sister that I want. I want her to be supportive and loving, and she's just not. But she's really good at what she does, which is critiquing music, so she can make my music a lot better if I can just deal with that personality. So what I realized was that her disrespect of me does not mean I'm not worthy of respect. So that was kind of the key. It was like, okay, so I can just let her be her and know that her opinion of me is, so RuPaul would say that someone else's opinion of you ain't none of your damn business. I hope it's okay to say that in church. But it's not. If someone hates you, that's their problem, right? Not yours. And I see that I'm right about over time. Okay, yeah. We're pretty well done. So if you want to live, if you want peace in a relationship, learn to forgive. If you want peace in the world, learn not to judge. So I can not judge my sister. So she is worthy of love, even though she's not acting the way I want her to act. She's still worthy of love, just like I'm worthy of love. And that was kind of the nice thing, is if I know I'm worthy of love, then I can know everyone else is worthy of love too. And I can show that, even though I maybe don't agree with them, I don't like what they're doing, I can still say, well, you know what? You're still worthy of love. And I brought her back into my heart. It took about 6 months. That's how obnoxious she was. No, just kidding. Well, she was, but I think it just testifies to the fact that if we want to change our minds and our hearts, we can. It may take a minute, but we can do it. And I think I needed to go through that mourning process with her, you know. It's just like if you lose a job, or if she had passed away, it was just kind of me going, okay, she's just not the person that I want her to be. And she's probably never going to be, but I can love her just as she is. And so I do, and it's just beautiful. So if we live by the Spirit, Galatians 5:25, we've been talking Galatians a lot. If we live by the Spirit, let us also be guided by the Spirit. Very nice. So I think the Spirit guides us toward love. And if we can remember to do that, start with ourselves, start with knowing who we are, practice that a little bit, cultivate that, spread it around. Okay, now I'm ready for an affirmation. The affirmation today, say that, I'll just say it, and then we'll all say it together. I create and cultivate peace in my heart and in our world. So let's say it together. I create and cultivate peace in my heart and in our world. Thank you. And then I just wanted to close with a question. If you had the choice between world peace or all of Bill Gates' money, what color Lamborghini would you buy? Thank you. We got a song by Diana.
Sing with me. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love.
So we don't take an actual offering here at Unity of Sun Lakes, but we do have an offering basket over in the corner, and you can always give online. You go to the Unity Church of Sun Lakes website. It's very easy to donate through PayPal there. So I invite you to do that. Churches, as we know, are supported by love offerings, by tithes, and that's kind of the way it's supposed to be. I had something good that I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So I went to a church, a very fundamental, very, very strict, fundamental, traditional Christian church, and you had to tithe. If you were in ministry, you had to tithe. And so I tithed out of obligation. I didn't like to tithe. I was raising 5 kids by myself, and every, $120. That was a lot of money, for somebody raising. Was making pretty good money at the post office, obviously, but to tithe that every couple of weeks. But now, since I've started coming to Unity, I tithe because, first of all, I love Unity, and I love how it has changed my life, and so I tithe to that because of the love. And then, when I was at Unity of Mesa, I don't know if you guys know Tony Lamantia, but he worked there for a while, and he was a teacher, and he took a prosperity class, and they said, we were tithing, but we decided in that class to tithe more. So they set us a higher number than the tithe, which is 10%. And he said as soon as that happened, blessings started coming out. I actually got a job at the church, and all sorts of things started happening for him. And so I've been tithing. We did a pledge at Unity of Mesa, so I tithed, and then I said, and I pledged another 5%. So I'm going to tithe and a half. And I noticed that I was being blessed a lot by that. But then recently I just said, you know what? I'd like to be blessed a little more, so I'm going to tithe a little more. So I decided to tithe more, and immediately, basically, I was offered 3 jobs like the week after I decided to start tithing more. And so I just want to say, God, we can trust the universe to pay us back for all the good that we give out. And like I said, we're all on the same side. So all that love is on our side, all that blessing, all the power, all the abundance and prosperity is on our side. Yay. All right, let's say a prayer. Divine love has me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I am so blessed. Thank you, God. Let's sing I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's say our offering gratitude. We give thanks
for these many blessings of today, and know they are but a symbol of the inexhaustible substance of the universe. I give thanks that 10 times this much or more is now on its way to me and quickly manifests in perfect ways.
And so it is. All right, got some announcements. Our prayer partner today is Barb Kelly. Hi, Barb. Thank you. Barb will meet you back in the corner if you'd like prayer. Betty, do we have anything about the Explorers today?
We're going to have a Christmas party on the 17th at Maria and Kate's beautiful home, so
Okay,
4 o'clock.
that's our Explorer.
4 o'clock.
Okay,
Great food.
sounds good. So, Christmas choir has been canceled. Mwah, mwah. Well, last week I think there were a lot of people out sick, and so there was only 3 people here, and it's like, okay, 3 people does not a choir make, so Maria and I made the executive decision to not have a choir. So I think, Jeannie and Dennis' name, you're probably going to be singing. We think so. Yeah. Okay. So I finally remembered to make the sign-up sheet for the Crochet and Knitting Club. Aren't you guys glad? Aren't you happy for me? And you too. Because if you want to learn how to crochet or knit, Laura and I will be teaching class. She says, I hope you know how to knit, Dennis, because I don't know how to, and I do. So I can help you learn how to knit. Kate will love, or Laura and I will help you learn how to crochet. Yes, we can teach lefties. Can we?
It's back.
With a mirror. With a mirror.
What?
Betty was telling us about our Explorer event this month, Christmas potluck at Kate and Maria's. What day of the week is December 17th?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. I was so confused, I thought it was on a Thursday.
And can I add something to that, Dennis?
You may.
I have volunteered to play the piano again at the Christmas party, so we can sing Christmas carols again. Yeah, everybody.
So are you coming?
Yes. Absolutely, unless it's my ghost.
I'm going to play the music, but I ain't.
There was one, but it's not back here.
All right, so every Wednesday at 10 a.m. we have a prayer partners meeting hosted by Reverend Julia. Every Tuesday at 9:30 we have Reiki share group. I don't know who hosts that. Who hosts that? Reverend Julia?
Betty.
Betty. Hi, Betty. I didn't know that. I might be interested in learning about Reiki. Musician next week is us, Amy, Dennis, and Reverend Jeannie. Thank you. So, last week I forgot to thank Lori for the flowers. Thank you, Lori. The beautiful flowers last week. Ela brought the beautiful flowers this week. Aren't they gorgeous?
Beautiful.
And and the angel back there. I wouldn't let her put the angel up here because we have the Advent candles here. So this is our Advent wreath.
Who
So-
brought the flowers?
Ela.
Beautiful.
And so this is for faith. This is for peace. And we're going to do, let's see what's next week? Joy.
Joy.
And then love.
Ah.
And then that's the Christ candle. So for Christmas Day, we light the Christ candle.
Ah.
So if you're not familiar with Advent, that's what that is. I like Advent. I like ritual. Because I think it's important. It kind of focuses our mind. So anyway, that's that. Laura has a question.
Yeah, because I can't come every week. Are we having a service on Christmas?
Yes, we are. Regular time, right, Maria? Yeah, regular time.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so planning Christmas festivities around that. All right, Julie has something to say.
We need people to sign up for greeters
January.
meditation. No, January.
This month too.
For the 25th.
Oh, okay. Right, so if you can bring flowers or meditate or
Ela has flowers.
Flowers is already done by Ela.
It says daily word, so meditation, opening prayer.
meditation and opening prayer if anyone would like to do that. Go ahead, Maria.
When the board met last month in November, we made a selective vote that we will hold our services at 10 o'clock beginning in January.
Did everybody hear that? So January 1st.
At the time for our new services. We had a lot of people that just couldn't get here that early, and it was
Yeah.
difficult, so we thought that it was best to do that.
Oh, I
Will you
appreciate the
email
extra
me
half hour
that?
sleep myself. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I drive. It's a 30-minute drive for me, so I really appreciate that. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, yes, just January 1st. That's a Sunday, so that's the Sunday after Christmas. We'll be meeting at 10. So if you get here at 9:30, nobody's here. That's all right. Just hang out.
You can help set up, right?
Yeah, help set up, meditate, all sorts of anything. You can do all sorts of good stuff. There was the ceiling had fallen down onto this table, so we can do all that good stuff. Clean
The
up.
what?
The ceiling fell onto the table. Well, we have 10 minutes left before we have to end. Does anybody want? What do we want to do? Sing a song? You listen, man. You may, Mary Lou.
I'd like everybody to take about 15 or 20 seconds and pray for a new microphone for Dennis.
Well, what happened when we changed the batteries in? It didn't do that any, but the battery is registering as full. So we're like, oh, well, we don't need to change the batteries, but then we changed the batteries, and it works.
No, but what does that have to
this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can we get some glue? I got some.
There. I just put it in the right spot. I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't. This doesn't tighten or loosen. That just moves all the time. Yeah. So okay. I see what you're saying. Yes, I agree. 10 to 15 seconds to be approved my clip.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kate.
I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that at the potluck, we'll be providing brisket as the main dish. So bring whatever you want to go with that.
All right.
Okay.
So us vegans will have to bring a main dish.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a main dish like that.
You know what also?
Enchilada. I make an enchilada casserole that's pretty darn nice.
Oh.
We're going to bring that.
I'd like people to, if you say you're gonna come, because, the last one,
No, people got sick.
Yeah.
That's why.
oh, don't get sick.
Okay. Don't. It's everybody stay healthy. Let's all. Who's going to stay healthy?
We're all going to say.
I was starting to feel kind of icky last week, and I Zycam, and well, I do this weird thing where I kind of inhale saline, just a little bit, get it up in there, wash that out, and I felt. Did that for 2 days in a row, and I felt normal again. Go ahead, Diana.
Yes, I have a question, and you knew I had one just the way I was looking at you, right? That's something? Yeah, I have a question for you. When you said, you know, we can control our thoughts and stuff, and we need to change our thoughts. Well, what do you do when you dream? I had a dream that I was depressed. And I even remember telling somebody, I'm depressed, but she didn't have any answers for me. So what do you do when you're dreaming?
Well, dreams are kind of a whole different thing. Just kind of know that dreams are symbolic, and sometimes they're right on. Like if you dreamed you're depressed, you might want to look at that in your heart. I want to say something real quickly. I maybe shouldn't say it, but that's so I'll say it. I had a dream the other day. So my dad passed away in 2010, and he kind of through mediums and stuff was talking to like sister and everybody and telling them, oh, I'm so proud of you and this and that. And I'm like, oh, I could really use some of that, Dad, because I was, you know, he and I never really got along. And so I had several dreams about it, but he wouldn't say anything in the dreams. I'd just see him. So, but last week I had a dream that I was making out with him. Sorry. But so I looked that up because it's obviously that's slightly disturbing. So it said all this kind of stuff like you need constant reassurance and just all sorts of stuff that I was just like, well, that's me. Well, that's me. Well, that's me. And that's me. And so nothing about being sexually attracted to my dad. But yeah, so dreams are just kind of their own special thing. It's fun, isn't it? It's whether the...
Well, you didn't answer her question.
What was the question? I'm still talking, but everybody's got their hands up.
I will answer her question.
Let me try
okay.
first.
I have studied about dreams for years. And what you dream is not an actuality, but it's a representation of something that's going on in your life. For instance, if you were to dream, this is the simplest explanation, if you were to dream that you're being chased by a monster or a bad guy, you have to ask yourself, what is going on in my life that I'm running away from? So it's the actuality of what you dream, being that, is less than 1%.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, whatever your name is.
Yeah.
That is Odie.
Nice accent.
That's Odie Van Noskitz.
Yeah.
Amy has one.
Someone, it came up on a TikTok thing from a very famous comic that being depressed means you need deep rest. Depressed means your body and your soul needs and wants deep rest. And it's been true for me when I've been there.
Yeah.
And so I need to listen before or during and not wait until I'm completely flat on the ground.
Exactly.
Deep rest.
Deep rest.
That's amazing. So Gary Simmons, who wrote The Eye of the Storm, which is a book that Unity has a whole class. There's an entire 8-week course on The Eye of the Storm, this book Gary Simmons wrote. And he came to Unity of Mesa and talked about how that if you don't have 8 hours of sleep, your immune system is compromised. Like it doesn't kick back in until 8 hours. So he says, I get about 6 hours at night, but then I take a nap. So I'll take a 2-hour nap to get his 8 hours every day. And I noticed that when I don't get enough sleep, I get sick. For instance, I was helping my daughter set up her business, and I was going to be Superman, and I wanted to get everything done that I wanted to get done for her, and it didn't need to be done. But I'm like, no, I'm going to get this done. And I stayed up all night, and that so that was like a Saturday. Stayed up all day Friday night, or Saturday night to Saturday, and had to come here Sunday, so I didn't get much sleep. And I got home from service that Sunday and was so sick. And I just went, okay, I kind of knew, it was in my head, you need to get some sleep. You don't need to do this, you need to sleep. And I was like, okay. So, like last week, I was starting to feel like I was going to get something, because everybody in church seemed to know somebody, talk to somebody that had COVID. And so I'm like, okay, I'm healthy and whole. So I was singing the song, I am healthy and whole, all day. Made it up just for that. Every cell in my body's healthy and well, and made of God. Right, we're made of God. I'm talking a lot. What I wanted to say was, yes, get lots of sleep.
Yeah.
But I made sure I got 8 hours of sleep, and if I didn't get it, I got a nap, and I feel great. So yes, hallelujah. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. Let's sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Okay.
If you want to stand, yes, please stand. Say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the light of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Amen. Thank you for coming.